You want to talk illegal? We can talk those NGOs. I mean, the whole NGO environmental scheme that the Democrats had going. This is really kind of unbelievable. This is all getting exposed in real time, including, by the way, a New York Post report that just broke suggesting that Biden may have pumped $300 billion into the economy in the quarter before the election in hopes that things would look a little bit better. But I really question whether any of that was legal. I mean, if they're misusing taxpayers in such a crazy way where they're giving, what, $22 billion to some of these NGOs for environmental reasons, I'll tell you, this is all changing and it's stopping. Lee Zeldin found some of this out with Stacey Abrams because Stacey Abrams apparently was running some organization that was part of this, like under this umbrella of Power Forward Communities, and she got $2 billion in your tax money in 2024. Interesting timing, right? So that you could go out and buy everybody new appliances. What's that about? I mean, this is an organization that basically didn't even know how to fill out its own accounting forms. This is an organization that was just kind of created as a pop-up. You can call it a pop-up NGO. And then it gets all this money. It seems a little shady, does it not? And here is Stacey Abrams, much like AOC, sort of implicating and incriminating herself. She went on to MSNBC to justify it the other day. And now Lee Zeldin, head of the EPA, who, by the way, we're going to get to what he just announced, is cutting all these regulations, getting rid of all this red tape in hopes of bringing energy prices even lower. Here's Stacey Abrams really kind of implicating herself in all of this.
One of the ironies of the attack on you, and I'm going to play what he did, was that my understanding is the program at the source of this whole thing is a program to lower costs for people. Do I have that top line correct?
You have it absolutely right.
Okay, so I'm gonna play what he had to say, and then I'm gonna ask you to explain what the program is that was such an obvious, ludicrous laugh line for the Republicans there. Take a listen.
$1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her?
Okay, so what is this organization? What is your relation to it, and what does it do?
In 2023 and 2024, I led a program called Vitalizing DeSoto. We worked in a tiny town in South Georgia to demonstrate that by replacing energy inefficient appliances with efficient appliances, you can lower your cost. And in fact, we accomplished that. For 75% of the community, they got appliances that are lowering their bills right now. We had one woman who saw her electric bill cut in half from $180 to $98. That's what we delivered. And based on that program, a coalition of organizations, famous organizations, came together and said to the EPA, if we can do this here, we can do this for millions more Americans. Let us invest the money of America in lowering the cost for Americans. And the EPA said, okay, great, go for it.
So the concern is that she was buying votes, okay? Like, I'll give you a new stove and you vote for Democrats because we're all about all these giveaways, this, that, and the other. I mean, that's basically what they're trying to get at. And they're looking at some of these forms, right? Like here's the United Health form getting $7 billion, massive amount of money, like the biggest that has ever been pumped into anything after filling out a 49-page form. And most of it's kind of blank. So lots of questions here. It comes just as we learn, and this is New York Post is reporting this, Biden actually pumped $300 billion apparently into the economy just before the election in hopes that it would make the economy look a little bit better instead of actually doing the hard work, right? Doing the things that you need to do to make things look better. I mean, look, it's been a little bit wild, right? The last 48 hours, we've had a market that's gone up, down, and all around. And what did I say? Keep a clear head. Make sure that you think about what actually does matter in the long run. And as an investor, and as long as you're not in and out in a day, right? As long as you have a long-term approach, you're going to be better off. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary, I should point out, at 76 Research. So proud of that. Look at these portfolios, up, 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 up. And by the way, over the last couple of days with all this craziness, we actually we actually have been beating the S&P, continuing to beat the S&P, because we don't get sucked into the insanity of it all. And I mean that. There's a certain kind of insanity. Take a look at those portfolios. You can also go to 76research.com. 76research.com. Use code word dollar so you get the 76 report for just $1 a month. We actually just came out, I should point this out, with a new pick. This is interesting because this stock just got beaten down so badly over the last couple of days. We just added it to our American Resilience portfolio. So take a look at some of that if you get a second today. Again, 76portfolios.com or 76research.com. Use code word dollar. Lee Zeldin, you just heard some of his comments. He was concerned about some of the things that Stacey Abrams may or may not have been doing. Well, he came out just moments ago and announced that he's getting rid of a ton of regulations. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Donald Trump wants to bring down energy costs, and his solution to doing that is actually reducing the amount of regulation that you have within the energy industry so you can open things up and that we can drill. I mean, the left is going crazy. This is their nightmare. Listen to Lee.
Today, I'm pleased to make the largest deregulatory announcement in U.S. history. The Environmental Protection Agency is initiating 31 historic actions to fulfill President Trump's promise to unleash American energy, revitalize our auto industry, restore the rule of law, and give power back to the states. EPA will be reconsidering many suffocating rules that restrict nearly every sector of our economy and cost Americans trillions of dollars. Our actions include the Biden administration's deeply flawed Clean Power Plan 2.0, mercury and air toxic standards, Quad O BC, particulate matter 2.5, light, medium, and heavy car and truck rules, NESHAPs, and the so-called social cost of carbon. To advance cooperative federalism, EPA
I mean, you had me at the social cost of carbon. Lee Zeldin, new head of the EPA. He's like just getting rid of all of it. This was Donald Trump's platform right from the beginning, right? Because he wants oil prices coming down. And just the mere thought of this, by the way, has had oil prices coming down, something he alluded to today in an earlier press conference. He was there with the head of Ireland. We'll get to the comments about Rosie a little bit later on because they're well worth hearing. Very funny stuff. But here he is saying, you know what? When you actually get rid of some of this regulation, you have the ability to bring down oil prices. And when you bring down oil prices, guess what? You start to reduce inflation. For some reason, these Democrats can't figure it out.
What I'm very happy with is oil is down to $65 a barrel. And that's faster than I would have anticipated. We put on the gas, we stepped in the gas in order to get oil. And with what's happening. So we're getting that down. And when energy comes down, prices are going to be coming down with it. So in a very short period of time, we've done a very good job.
Indeed, right? I mean, you saw the CPI news out today. CPI coming in at 2.8%. Let me see if I have, I'm going to get to that because I get some great graphics I want to show you because this is really 2.8%. I mean, it's up 2.8%, but everybody thought it was going to be 3 or higher. Everybody thought that, now that Trump is in there and he's talking tariffs and this, that, and the other, there's no way that inflation would actually come down. And what do you know? It came down. I don't know what the Democrats are going to do for talking points now. But, the reality is they're thinking about things. They're thinking about things in a really smart way. And whether it be the EPA or the Department of Education, they want to get rid of the red tape.